Hola doves! In this video, ZA is going to show you how Mumzie preps the himi jelly gouache because she got ZA several colors because she loves this gouache, and ZA is here at her house for the time being. Don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it. But she has a method for prepping the jelly gouache so that they stay moist and that they don't get moldy, because in the back when the jelly gouache was popular, people later complained about a year later saying that it dries out or it gets moldy or whatever. The biggest thing with this video is that this method works if you are opening your jelly gouache cups for the very first time. If you already have opened them and they've already dried out, we aren't sure if this method will work, but you're welcome to try it, because there are some ways to re-wet the jelly gouache after it's been dried up. But the only thing is that the consistency of it is no longer jelly-like, it's more like liquidy like. So let's get into it. Let's start off with what you're gonna need. So first off, you're gonna need the himi gouache, which fair, but you have to make sure it hasn't been opened and that it hasn't dried out completely. So factory sealed himi gouache cups, and according to Mumzie, they sell them open stock now. She gifted ZA these colors as well as another set of colors, but these are the ones that are unopened, so we're going to focus on them today. All of the ones in this purple box are open, but she primed them already. So you're gonna, if you can probably try this method if you already have like opened himi gouache and it's dried out, but results will vary and ZA can't really, say with 100% certainty that it'll work for you. You also need this wrap on top of the gouache is actually Glad's press and seal. It's better than using Klingon wrap. You also are gonna need clove oil, but you have to be careful with getting the clove oil. It has to say clove bud oil and not just like regular clove oil. This is an essential oil, because when you make your own clove oil, you want to use the cloves that have the buds on them, because you can extract the most clove from it in your essential oil. So since this says clove bud oil, I know it's made from the buds and not just from the mashed up powder. So there's that. You're gonna need some tweezers to open up these little cups because they are very difficult to open. You're gonna need a mixing knife. You could use a paleto knife. That's what ZA is gonna use. One other really important thing you're gonna need is distilled water. Oh, we have a gallon of it here. This is the Great Value brand. the brand technically doesn't matter, but this was the cheapest. But it has to be distilled water. It can't be any other type of water. It must be distilled. And also, oh, try to put that down delicately. We put it in this spray bottle. So, because you're going to want to spray with it. So, those are all of the materials. You obviously want to start by opening each of these cups. Your hands are going to hurt because these are actually really difficult to open. YouTube makes it look so easy. YouTube also makes these look like they're bigger than they actually are. But yeah, so what ZA likes to do is take some tweezers and go to one of the corners. Hang on. Go to one of the corners and then pull and fight with it for a while. And still fight with it for a while. There we go. Pull it off. You want to pull it off completely because we're going to have to stir stuff up. Here, might be better if we... There we go. So, step one would be to unwrap all of these. You might want to rest afterwards because your hands are going to hate you for a couple of days. So, unwrap all of these and then scoop up whatever you can from the lid into your jelly cup because that's still good paint. Yes, ZA knows that ZA hasn't unwrapped all of them, but this is an important step too. This is step number 2. You're going to want to stir it. And when ZA says stir it, you really want to get down into the bottom and stir and like make it very goopy. Get all of the lumps out and stuff. Kind of like when you're making pancakes and it's got all those lumps in it, you want to get all the way to the bottom of that mixing bowl and get rid of all of the lumps like this. It looks like pudding actually. Well, pudding and jelly are very similar, but yes, do that after you unwrap all of these. That's the next step. You have to do that. Now that all of the cups are open and stirred, you're going to take your clove bud oil and you're going to add 3 drops to each of these, and then you're going to stir it up again. And this one, this fluorescent pink and this bronze color, ZA prepped them yesterday. So we're going to do all the colors except for those, because they're already ready to paint. So 3 drops in each pot. And we'll go to the next step afterwards. If I can get it out. There we go. 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you accidentally get more than 3 in here, it's okay. Because the clove oil, its purpose is to prevent mold. And if you follow people who make their own watercolor and gouache, clove oil is one of the big ingredients that they use because it prevents mold. But if clove oil has a very strong scent to it, so if you're someone who's sensitive to smells, you might we'll talk about the alternative in a bit. So now that they've all had the clove oil added, we're going to stir each of them. Now that all of the cups have the clove oil in them, CA forgot to mention needing this himi spray for the gouache. If you don't have this, it's okay. You'll just have to spray with extra distilled water. But with this spray, you spray each of these. Doesn't matter how much spray you use, but you spray each of these, and depending on how often you paint with these, so if you paint with these a lot, then you don't need to use the spray as much. But if you only paint with these on occasion, then you'll have to spritz them with this more often. So let's spray all of these. After you spray, you're going to stir all of them again. So we'll do a couple together. This is the fluorescent, so you could tell that this one has been primed already because it maintains its jelliness, but it's a little bit stiffer than you know, what they're like fresh out of the box. So that's the pink one. So just stir all of them again. Yes, there's a lot of stirring, but this is the best way that ZA knows how to explain it. Okay, so technically they're all prepped for the most part, but there's one crucial step you have to do before you start painting. You're going to take your clove bud oil and add 1 more drop to every single color, and then you're going to stir it, and then you can paint. So CA is not entirely sure why it's done this way, but CA thinks that it's because it's just another added protection to keep it from molding and stuff. And this will be the last drop of clove oil you'll need. So in total, you'll need 4 drops of clove oil, 3 at initially, and then 1 before you start painting with your colors for the first time. So add 1 more drop and stir, and then you can paint. But we'll talk about distilled water next. So when you are painting, it is very important to have distilled water. Mumzie, she likes to scoop out a little bit of paint. Well, she gets more than this, but we're just demonstrating. She scoops it out onto her mitts and surface, and then she like uses regular water and stuff to paint with it, so that regular water is not touching the actual cups. ZA does not paint this way. ZA paints differently. What ZA does, ZA dips the brush into the cups. This is also how ZA works with acrylics as well. And so because of that, if you're someone who dips your brush into your cups, you have to use distilled water for your clean water and your dirty water. Otherwise, you're undoing all of this prep that we just did. So remember to use distilled water if you're someone who dips into the cups. And if you're someone who scoops the paint out, you don't have to worry about that, but that is a very important step. Also, if you are sensitive to the smell of cloves, then you'll have to use more of the himi spray more often, as well as the distilled water. This distilled water, you use it at the end of every painting session. You spray everything, and then you seal it with the press and seal. This, you mainly use it when you're priming, and ever so often throughout the month. So that is the method that Mumzie uses to prep her jelly gouache cups, and she's got the gigantic set of 50, so she gave ZA quite a few colors because ZA has never used this gouache before. But her set of 50 has never molded because she did a lot of research and found this method. So ZA really hopes that it helps. ZA really hopes that this video helps you with your jelly gouache endeavors. Mumzie's got the gigantic set of 50, and she said the reason why she bought the big set is because they now carry them open stock, which is really good, because a big reason why ZA never bought them was because they didn't come open stock. Also, ZA didn't feel like spending money on gouache that'll dry up, but now ZA doesn't have to worry about that. So if you enjoyed this video, it would really be helpful if you could donate to ZA's Ko-Fi account. It really helps more than you know. It helps with future daily earnings, as well as future videos, website upkeep, and more tutorials for you doves. And ZA hopes you get some earning done today.